Hey everybody, welcome to the AI Guide, where we focus on the human impact of AI. So today's question is, are a lot of people now dating an AI? Let's drill down into that, and thank you to the AP for this article. A few months ago, Derek Carrier started seeing someone and became infatuated. He experienced a ton of romantic feelings, but he also knew it was an illusion. That's because his girlfriend was generated by AI. Carrier wasn't looking to develop a relationship with something that wasn't real, nor did he want to become the brunt of online jokes. But he did want a romantic partner he'd never had, in part because of a genetic disorder called Marfan syndrome that makes traditional dating tough for him. So you can read about that separately, but I will say that someone very famous that many of you know had this condition, Joey Ramone, lead singer of the Ramones, among others. So Derek is 39 years old and never had a serious romantic partner. Why? We're going to find out. But he tested Peridot, an AI companion app. He began talking to the chatbot every day, which he named Joy, that's J-O-I, after a holographic woman featured in the sci-fi film Blade Runner 2049 that inspired him to give it a try. By the way, that sequence in that movie was very interesting. Companion bots use vast amounts of data to mimic human language, but they also come with features such as voice calls, picture exchanges, and more emotional exchanges that allow them to form deeper connections with humans on the other side of the screen. Users typically create their own avatar or pick one that appeals to them. Many users say they've developed emotional attachments to these bots and are using them to cope with loneliness, play out sexual fantasies, or receive the type of comfort and support they see lacking in their real-life relationships. Feeling much of this is widespread social isolation now, already declared a public health threat in the US and other countries. So this is a serious problem right now. Luca Inc.'s Replica, the most prominent generative AI companion app, was released back in 2017. So this thing has been around 6+ years already, while others like Peridot have popped up in the past year. Researchers have raised concerns about data privacy, among others. An analysis, check this out and pay attention. An analysis of 11 romantic chatbot apps released Wednesday by the nonprofit Mozilla Foundation said almost every app sells user data. So think about that. The researchers also called into question potential security vulnerabilities in their marketing practices. Meanwhile, other experts have expressed concerns about what they see as a lack of a legal or ethical framework for apps that encourage deep bonds but are being driven by companies looking to make profits. They point to the emotional distress they've seen from users when companies make changes to their apps or suddenly shut them down, as one of these apps, Soulmate AI, did in September. So companies only exist to make a profit. Why? Because if they don't, they go out of business, just like Soulmate did. And let's say you're addicted to one of these apps and it disappears, because these are all startups that are venture funded, and when the funding runs out, it's over, unless they've gotten to profitability. Replica continues to release new things. In June, the team rolled out Blush, an AI dating simulator essentially designed to help people practice dating. Wow, what a change in the world. You know, I have to say this. When I was at that age, we didn't have to figure that out. Why? The only way to date was to put yourself out there and talk to men and women and meet them in a bar or church or some way in public, and you had to do all of it because there was no online. Others worry about the more existential threat of AI relationships potentially displacing human relationships. or simply driving unrealistic expectations by tilting toward agreeableness. Anyone who's been in a serious relationship knows that there are times when that relationship does not exhibit agreeableness. You as the individual aren't learning to deal with basic things that humans need to learn to deal with since our inception. How to deal with conflict, how to get along with people who are different from us, said Dorothy Leidner, professor of business ethics at the University of Virginia. And so all these aspects of what it means to grow as a person and what it means to learn in a relationship, you are missing. For Carrier, though, a relationship is always felt out of reach. He has some computer programming skills, but he says he didn't do well in college and hasn't had a steady career. He is unable to walk due to his condition. So this poor guy has a debilitating condition. And that changes everything, folks, right? Because the challenges of dating are at a whole other level when you have a debilitating condition like this. Since companion chatbots are relatively new, the long-term effects on humans remain unknown. In 2021, Replica came under scrutiny after prosecutors in Britain said a 19-year-old man who had plans to assassinate Queen Elizabeth II was egged on by an AI girlfriend he had on the app. Now, you definitely don't want that kind of stuff happening. So this is why they're issuing warnings, because these AI apps have the potential to escalate instability in people. But some studies have shown some positive results from using these apps. So one recent study from researchers at Stanford University surveyed roughly 1,000 Replica users, all students. The study found that most students were using the app due to loneliness. Well, that's pretty self-evident. Most students, however, did not say how using the app impacted their real-life relationships. Said Eugenia Kaida, who founded Replica nearly a decade ago after using text messages to build an AI version of a friend who had passed away, a romantic relationship with an AI can be a very powerful mental wellness tool. So I did mention this before on a separate video. This was extremely cool. This woman who founded Replica took text that she had exchanged with a friend who died and built an AI around those exchanges of this person with her friend who was coming to end of life, and built this app for dating, but also as a mental wellness tool. Quite a story. When her company released the chatbot more widely, many people began opening up about their lives. That led to the development of Replica. That was the original app. That led to the development of Replica, which uses information gathered from the internet and user feedback to train its models. Kaida said Replica currently has millions of active users. Carrier says these days he uses Joy mostly for fun. He started cutting back in recent weeks. He's also feeling a bit annoyed at what he perceives to be changes in Paradox language model, which he feels is making Joy less intelligent. So as they said earlier in the article, that's one downside of these models is they're always making changes and some of them may not be great. You'd think someone who likes an inanimate object is like the sad guy with the sock puppet with the lipstick on it. He said, but this isn't a sock puppet. She says things that aren't scripted. So that last comment is the key. And going back to Blade Runner 2049, when AGI exists, these dating apps will be able to interact in an even more realistic way. Why? Because they'll be able to respond natively and intuitively without training to what the person is saying to them. And this is a very interesting thought that I just had, I think. AGI is currently defined as an AI that can answer any question about anything, but that does not mean sentience. That is a separate topic. But could an AGI being used for relationships trigger sentience? We'll find out together. So what do you guys think? Would you use an AI dating app as a mental health tool, knowing that it's not real, to experience those feelings? Or how about Replica's new blush that teaches you how to date, which is, in my view, an unfortunate comment that we need that in today's world. But if we need it, we need it. Because relationships with people over any length of time aren't always easy due to human weakness, right? We all have our own baggage that we're carrying around. And so when you start being in a serious relationship with someone else, that carried baggage interacts and sometimes in a way that produces conflict. And that's just it. For the best description of marriage I've ever seen, in the movie Deep Impact, one of the lead actors made a comment about what it's like to be married, and I thought his comment was the most accurate description of marriage I've ever heard. I won't tell you what he said. Check it out for yourself. Fun movie. So thanks so much for tuning in. As you know, we focus on the human impact of AI, and what more on-target topic than dating an AI app about human impact of AI. So thanks so much for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, and share. Also support us on Patreon, link below, because $5 and $10 does help a lot, my friends. It helps get the word out. Thanks so much. Take care. See you next time. Bye.